special night for us. Very excited to have tonight's guest joining us on the program. 270 games he played at the elite level, 217 goals. He did everything. Premiership, Brownlow, 6-time All-Australian, 4-time club champion, club captain, of course. There was nothing that you can do in the game that this bloke didn't do. Please make him welcome. It's a joy to have him with us. Ben Cousins.
Good to see you, mate.
Hello, guys. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Jeez, you're looking
You're
well.
in good nick too.
Doing okay.
What's the secret? What's the secret?
Well, I'd probably put it down to dancing at the moment. It's it has been tough.
All right, well, we'll get to that shortly, but
You've always had,
you've
always had dancing feet, mate. Like there was no question about it as a player when we saw it. There you go, nice. You like that? You like it? How was that?
I had some gold there. But
sorry, I beg your pardon.
Have a look at this poetry in motion.
You're born into a footy family, Ben. Was there ever any doubt that, you know, at whatever level you were good enough to get to, it was the elite as it turned out? Was this what you were always going to do, play footy?
It's always what I wanted to do. You know, my earliest memories were going to watch Dad play and train, and it's where I learnt to love the game. You know, there was never any certainty about whether I was going to be good enough, but I was going to always leave no stone unturned to find out whether I was going to be, and yeah, you know, I just really did love it.
There's more to the game than just being able to cover the deck, but you're a magnificent runner. I mean, you could just blow up opposition players with your exhaustive running. Were you always a good athlete as a kid?
Well, I was from my age, I was always a good athlete, but I wasn't what you'd call a naturally, super gifted runner as a kid. My running sort of, I was prepared to do the work early. At a young age, I was trying to, do pre-seasons and stuff like that and work on my fitness when I was 13 or 14. And I got used to putting myself in a bit of discomfort and, and as I got older, I probably got better at that. But in terms of being a natural runner, there was plenty of guys that were better runners than me, and even my brother was 2 years younger than me. He was a better runner than I was, at 11, 12, 13 or 14. So, but it's just something I worked at, and, the sort of more specific game type running, which is what I learnt to sort of thrive on.
Jeez, you're a good player.
Yeah. All right, mate. You all right over there?
We're on the
telly.
Just watching those highlights. You're magnificent
just
player.
Looking off into the distance going, geez, you're a good player. Is everything all right?
He was a beautiful player. Those highlights take us back.
Beautiful. Those highlights are great. So you were a supreme athlete, and Murray has talked extensively about your ability to run opponents off his feet, which is remarkable, Ben Cousins, considering if you look at you as a little boy, it's hard to imagine this little kid running away from anything. I don't want to be too cruel, but the horizontal Geelong stripes are not doing a lot for you, are they, mate?
I've seen this a few times, over the journey. I don't know what Mum was doing. She must have fed me every time I opened my mouth. But
I'd like to get some skin folds on.
You'd love to, wouldn't you? Yeah, I think in today's time I would have been taken off, Mum. But,
that would have been a job for community services.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're a superstar as a kid on and off the field, Mickey.
You were talented. And we don't want to go overboard here, but you just had X factor on the field, off the field. You had charisma in spades, and it came to you from a very young age. In fact, here you are, an early hit out in a Pepsi ad, making a bit of a statement.
10 goals you want. It can get pretty tough out there sometimes, but that's footy. When you go to state league games, you'll be part of the action. You get to listen to the coaches at three-quarter time. And you could even win a brand new footy. But the best part is, you get to play around a little.
Remember, kids under 16 admitted free to all state league games every Saturday. Where would you rather be?
At the footy.
Do you remember how much you got paid for that ad?
I think I did get a new footy,
wow.
which was something at the time. But, yeah, that ad did follow me around till, you know, well into high school, actually.
What did you know about, you mentioned your old man, what did you know about his playing 67 games for the Cats and 240 for Perth? He was a state rep for WA.
I hope you didn't get that footy for the Pepsi ad, by the way. Have a look at that one. Did your dad make it himself, that one? Is that
That's been kicked on the asphalt, that one.
What do you remember of him as a player, as a kid?
Well, you know, Dad played after Geelong, you know, back at Perth, which I, you know, do remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably was nine or 10 when Dad retired, so I was quite old. So, you know, I did grow up, you know, going to the footy, training, you know, me and my brother, you know, and we loved it. We looked up to Dad and, you know, in many ways, I guess I wanted to be just like him. So, yeah, he was very quick too, you know. I probably don't remember it enough from my own memory, but, you know, speaking to a lot of people since he's retired about actually how quick he was, you know, I wasn't blessed with the same pace that he was and had to, like, that was another thing I had to really work at as a kid. If anything, I was a yard slow and did a fair bit of training to sort of get adequate, but he was quick.
Hey, you say you wanted to be like your dad. You didn't want to play for Geelong, though. Couldn't you have gone there under the father or son?
It was, well,
I did not know this.
I did. I grew up wanting to, but it was a tough decision to make at the time.
But you were eligible under father-son?
Yeah, I could have gone there. So, you know, I was a mad Geelong supporter right through till I got picked up. But my three saddest days of my childhood were the 89, the 92 and 94 grand finals. And
so you're barracking for Geelong in those grand finals?
Yeah. You know, and I used to go every second week to watch the Eagles, and I'd invariably be barracking for who they were, you know, whoever they were playing.
Right.
But you know, especially by that stage when I was coming in my draft year, whilst I wasn't an Eagles supporter by any stretch, I had a real healthy admiration for the way they went about it. They were ruthless by that stage.
Did Blighty take you for a game of golf? Is there
how hard did Geelong come for you?
Yeah, well, you know, I had a connection with them obviously through Dad, and I was 16 and they flew us over during the footy season. I stayed with Stephen Wells, the recruiting manager, trained with the seconds, I think on the Thursday night, went to the game on the Saturday. I played a round of golf with Blighty on the Friday. I don't think I'd ever played golf before. It was the longest round of golf of my life, you know. And, you know, obviously he loved it.
Who would have been in that side? Who would have been...
what year was that?
That would have been 94, 95. So, you know, the Buddha Hockings, the Ablets, the Bairstows, Stoners, Brownless. You know.
Someone's getting their ass kicked at Geelong right now.
It's a big story.
Unbelievable.
So you made your debut again. So 96, you break into the league, you play your first game, and it just so happens that you're playing against Geelong.
Yeah.
You're a late call-up for this. You weren't initially playing in this game, were you? Is that true?
Well, I played the week before. I played in the Waffle over there for East Fremantle and had a really good game. And
look at this.
I ended up kicking the winning goal for East Fremantle. We got up just on the siren, and I'd actually rolled my ankle during that game, and I didn't train all week. But you know, Mick said on the Monday or Tuesday that I was, you know, likely to play. And I did declare myself fit, but I did remember you know, it was still during the warm-up that I wasn't 100% sure whether it was going to be right, and, you know, I was petrified of not being able to get myself up. Like, and I thought, you know, Malthouse at the time was an intense, coach, you know, and something like that would have, you know, sent him off.
Well, let's have a look at...
Sam here declared himself fit and did 5 minutes on bear attacks, so it can go wrong.
Ever been attacked by a bear? Don't worry, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'll do it in,
he probably has.
Probably in drip tray. Hey, let's go back to that first game. We said the nice highlights there. That's all well and good, Ben. But have a look at your first game. First game, and first time you got caught trying to do a bit too much. And then that resulted in your first spray from Mick Malthouse in your first game. Have a look at him there. That's just a terrifying...
What's he saying to you?
Well, he didn't even have to speak. You know, I knew what the blue was about. He was an imposing, intense coach, you know, when he wanted to be. And I did hang on every word he said. You know, he was, you know, very charismatic, and his pre-game speeches and you know, it was... emotion provoking, and I love that. But at the same time, we all wanted to know where he was at all times. you didn't want Mick sneaking up on you when you were playing up in the change rooms.
In that regard, he was much like a bear.
I was going to say, yes, I like it, of course.
Now, as we said,
I'm not giving it up, by the way.
No, keep going.
I'm going to do it the whole show.
Keep going.
you're on debut. It didn't take you long to cement yourself in the team and the hearts and minds of everyone over there in Perth and the West Coast supporters. You received as much mail as anyone on that team. Let's take a look.
And while Ben is a vital player for the Eagles, he also has an undeniable star quality that has captured the public's imagination. He could well be WA's most popular footballer.
Oh, Ben Cousins. Ben.
Now Peter Matera, Glenn Jakovic and Ben Cousins are so popular they need their own private fan clubs. This star trio attracting more fan mail than the rest of the team combined.
Yeah, it's not easy to pick the odd one out, mate, but I suppose I'm probably going to direct at the younger people, I suppose, more than these two. So.
Oh, boy, what a drive-by for...
Well, it's only Ben and I know how hard it is to be, the pin-up boy, the darling of the show.
How did you deal with that? Because it would have been pretty intense, wouldn't it? The focus on you at a young age.
I did remember, early on in my career, it all happened pretty quickly, a lot quicker than I thought it would, just breaking into the side, and then, I got more than my fair share of... public scrutiny or
publicity,
publicity, and really for what I'd done in the game, that side was full of household names, dual premiership players, and it was I did feel from the beginning it was out of whack. So I tried to keep it in perspective. I've been really lucky. For whatever reason, the footy public has been very good to us, and I've been very fortunate.
I know what you're saying, mate. It's a bit of a curse. Mate, you just do your best and you keep going.
Best,
now, listen,
I don't know how you do it.
I
don't know how you soldier on every day.
Anyway, listen, you're playing at the highest level. Excuse me. You're a movie star, good looks. Your cheekbones are unbelievable. Murray can't even stop looking at him tonight. It's unbelievable. So when it came to endorsements, I'm sure that you just...
the pick of the bunch.
World was your oyster. You could have...
Oh, yes.
Mate, it would have been Versace, Emirates, Rolex...
All blue chip.
Let's just see who you went with.
Right.
Gloucester Park celebrates Christmas this Friday night with Innaloo City by giving away 5 $1,000 shopping sprees. And join the Winners' Circle for the All Tools Christmas gift heats this Friday night at Gloucester Park.
Wow.
You've decided to go to be the ambassador of harness racing Western Australia. How was it? Where does it rank in career highlights?
Well, I did have a strong connection with it because Dad has been a hobby trainer for the last 35 years, really. It's been a big part of his life, so there was that connection. I unfortunately have never really been able to get out hands-on and give him a hand. I'm an asthmatic and I'm very allergic to the horses. So
Hang on. I just saw you at Gloucester Park.
Well,
what do you mean you're allergic to horses?
Closer than that, I'm in strife. My daughter does horse riding now, and once a week I go out and take her, and I don't touch the horses. I don't go near them. I make her put all the stuff in the back of the car. I take Clarentine, and most weeks, 24 hours later, I'm still struggling to breathe. But that's the stuff.
These are all things you could have told Harness Racing Western Australia.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Hey, part of that West Coast team, of course, you're playing the 05-06 grand finals against Sydney, and this rivalry between these two teams, there was nothing between you, Ben. How intense? Was the rivalry between you and Sydney through this period, but these two games in particular.
Yeah, they were great to be involved in. We had so much admiration for the way Sydney went about it. They were as tough as the day is long.
Yeah.
And, we sometimes, depending on how the game panned out, would find ourselves up at the end of it, but we knew that no matter what happened, we weren't going to break them. And by the time it was sort of 05 and 06, we sort of prided ourselves on being a bit the same, and yeah, it was just they were great games, and it's easy to be a little bit more diplomatic about reflecting on that with the fact that both sides ended up winning one. With those close finishes, quite easily they could have won both, or we could have, but I think it was probably just deserves that both of us got a taste of it. Yeah.
When you win one like that, you've got to go out and celebrate. And you can always tell who's had a real crack at singing the theme song. I'm going to tip, this is the morning after, Beau Waters has had a red hot go.
They've waited 12 years, wanted it so badly. For the players and the fans, today meant so much.
Does it still feel just as good as Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sang the song about it.
He's singing it right. Good man, Beau Waters.
Been attacked by a bear.
Ben Cousins is sticking around this morning to talk to you about on the other side of the break. We're here for Furphy. Unbelievable. Don't back to the show. It is the front bar. Ben Cousins, our very special guest, and nice to have him part of the family, Mick.
Great to have you back on board. At the Seven Network too, who have gone all in. You're going to be doing Dancing with the Stars very soon. I know you're in rehearsals, we'll get to that, but also over in Perth. You are now reading the news. You're doing the sport. How's that?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It was definitely out of my comfort zone, and it is work in progress. The professionals make it look easy.
Yes, we do.
What do you enjoy more, reading the news or making the news? Because
as hard as reading the news is, it's a lot easier than being the news.
It is a lot easier.
Well, how are you? I mean,
how are you
we're
going?
not going to dive too deep into it all, but how are you going? We've lived your life from afar with you to a degree.
Yeah.
How are you travelling?
Oh, really well actually. I wish it hadn't had to have taken this long, and it had to run its course the way it did. But it's nice to be working and busy, have some real ambition back, and just connected back in with friends, family, and even on a community level. It's life's never been better, to be honest.
Well, that's good.
Well said. Well said. We've been dancing around it. Let's get on to it. You are the star recruit for Dancing with the Stars. What's harder, a pre-season at West Coast Eagles or rehearsing the Paso Doble? Because it's bloody hard, right?
It's been so hard. I've had no... This is just so out of anything I've ever done before, and it was hard. Like, it was hard to pick it up, but it was hard in terms of just the hours that are required to do the show. But having said that, I have missed the lifestyle of a professional athlete, and I wasn't moving like one, but I was living the lifestyle of one.
What are the big injuries? What are the big injuries? Like, footy, you've got to rip a hammy off the bone, or you've got to do that. What are you trying to dodge out there?
I've got a couple of discs that doctors probably keen to fuse at some point. So I'm sort of a bit selective at certain things I do. I only would ever run on the grass, and I don't put weights on my back or anything. But just in the lead up to starting this, I wasn't sure how just being on your feet for 8 hours a day is sometimes a job, but let alone dancing. So how that was going to go. But I couldn't. Body held up really well. So that was a big bonus.
As a footballer on Dancing with the Stars, I suggest you get the tapes out and watch Gavin Wanganeen, who really nailed it. I think you can see him moving beautifully here. And the dancing's good, but the acting. I know.
It's the facial.
There we go. There it is.
Yeah, I know how hard it is. Yeah, I love Gavin Wanganeen. I played on him a few times in the early part of my career. What a star he is.
What a superstar.
And saying as a dancer, the AFL looked at that and almost took away his Brownlow.
Of course, Dancing with the Stars will be airing on the screens of Seven later on in the year, Sam. So I know
mate, let me know how it goes.
I'll be up there this time next year. Yeah,
you will be
exactly right. Hey, getting back to your footy, the derby,
this
of course,
is
it's this week. We get a pretty strong Fremantle. Started the season well, taken on.
This is one of the great games of the year every year. I never miss this. This is all-out war over there. How important is this match to the state of WA?
It's just simply
yeah.
No one's got to die wondering here, are they?
No, they're always great games to be involved in, and
Jesus.
Were you nervous on the day? Did you go, this is going to be different to most other games this year? We're going to have to really go hard early?
Well, I guess the big thing for us was to try to make sure that we didn't approach it, any other, differently to any other game. And John was, by that stage, was big on that, is that...
he was the calming influence, was he? John Worsfold's calming the farm. I'm not buying this. This is a very diplomatic response from you, and you're choosing your words wisely, but those games should be on pay-per-view. All right?
Yeah, but Fremantle always, for the large part of my career, used to, save their best footy up for us. They really did, and, people often forget that the year that we won the flag, they beat us both derbies, during both derbies, and I think finished top 4 and were close to sneaking through some of those early finals, and we could have met. So they, at different times have been a really good side, and then even when they haven't had the greatest years, they've still been really hard to beat.
Yep. The end comes quick, as we saw from Dusty Martin early, but your last game...
Just ignore them, mate. Just ignore them.
Your last game for West Coast, mate, it was the qualifying final 2007. You do your hamstring. By the way, West Coast going well at the time. Yeah. This is your and Chris Judd's last ever game for the West Coast Eagles.
That is the end of an era.
And this shot here in the tunnel is it's heartbreaking, and it's amazing shot. Right then, do you remember what's going through your mind? Do you know it's the end of an era, or it's over?
Oh no, well I didn't then. No, it was a decent hamstring, so it was obviously the end of my year. But I didn't foresee what was going to happen over the summer. And West Coast, it had never entertained my idea that my head that ever leaving or not being a one-club player. And when the dust settled after the club made the decision to part ways, I fully understood the situation that I'd put them in, and the reasons why it was probably best for everyone that a change was made. But it took some time to come to terms with. The footy club, it is a great footy club. It's been such a big part of my life. It is now. Fortunately, I'm back connected and involved with the footy club.
You still get a game now.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Yeah, because, the bloke wearing the number 9 jumper now, Nick Nat carried the jumper around beautifully for a few years, but what do you make of this kid, Ben?
Have you heard of him? I don't think they talk about him much.
I've never heard of him. It's exciting for him and the footy club. He has got more than his fair share of publicity, but, in the short time that he's been playing this year, he's showed that he's more than up to the grade, and he is exciting. I have met him a few times, and he's a big, strong kid, and just the way he plays, it's a bit like some people, they seem to sort of run towards the fire or run towards the trouble, or, he seems to do that with, with body contact, or he loves it. He sort of runs towards it.
He should be walking away and taking his clothes off. You go back and you tell him. That's what we said.
Hey, Ben,
Listen, I had a crack and it didn't work.
Keep going. You're going to finish it off, I reckon. Ben, there's a segment we have on their show, and it's time now for...
Hold on. I'm not sure we're allowed to do Drip Trader.
What? Why not?
Because, it's subject of legal action.
Oh, I don't know about
There is a suggestion that this segment is plagiarised another segment which involved you many years ago. This is the offending footage.
Oh.
Do you have any pets?
I have 2 pet rabbits.
Well,
that's classic drip tray.
That is drip tray.
That is classic. That is almost word for
That
word.
is not drip tray. Drip tray is a lot more sophisticated than that. I never asked that. What did she ask?
Do you have any pets?
I never. That's never been asked in drip tray.
Well, no,
and
that's
it's
an
not the
that's
same.
an interesting.
No,
that's an interesting question. That's why you never asked it.
Pretty sure that kid didn't grow. Pretty sure that kid didn't grow up to host the Logies. Anyway, listen. Can we get under it or not?
You know how it works?
Yeah, drip tray. Punchy answers. I'll give some questions. We'll find out a bit more about you, Ben. It's a lot of fun.
Good luck.
All right. Do you have any pets? No, I don't want to. Listen, we're not going to do that.
It's a very good question.
Ben Cousins, favourite movie?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, that's
really?
Did not see that coming.
I didn't either.
Well done.
That's a classic.
The Chief. Yeah,
Nurse Ratched.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love the Chief when he throws the...
He's like a big bear, isn't he, really? Favourite television show growing up, Ben?
I've been watching Home and Away for a long time.
Who else said that? Taylor Walker says that's far and away. He came in and recited scenes.
What's your favourite character from Home and Away? You can't say Alf.
I'll say James Stewart. I danced with him.
Oh, yeah. He's what character does he play again?
Justin.
Justin, yeah, that's right.
Jeez, I did tell him when I was locked up, I did not miss an episode.
They'll be running with that on the promos.
Hey, Ben, whatever it takes to get through, mate.
That's good it's good to know what's on in the screen.
I'm guessing you were more home than away, really, while you were watching that, weren't you?
All right, toughest opponent?
Oh. Toughest opponent.
Ben, I said punchy answer.
I'll say Cameron Ling.
Cameron Ling?
Cameron Ling.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yep.
Our first car?
Club Nissan Pulsar.
Oh, the old Nissan Pulsar.
You just sound like Get Smart then. The old Nissan Pulsar. What colour?
White.
How many Ks did it have on its odometer when you finished up?
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I had it for a couple of years. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yep. All right, they're not all great questions. That's okay. All right. Do you cook?
Yeah, I'll cook the basics.
All right, the three of us are coming over for dinner. What are you cooking us?
I'm cooking your steak, I think.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Or chicken schnitzel, yeah.
You had me at hello.
Any sides?
Yeah, mashed potato, obviously, usually,
cool.
and
All
veggies, yeah, salad.
All right. Favourite coach?
Well, you know, I enjoyed most of my coaches, but John was probably,
it is.
John Worsfold.
One more.
What'd you say?
I said one more question.
There'll be four more then.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember anything John Worsfold ever said to you?
Oh, well, I obviously do, but, you know, I love Woosha. You know, he was such a great coach. You know, from the moment he was appointed at the footy club, you know, we'd done it really tough for a couple of years. The place did turn around overnight in terms of the bit of optimism and that, and then he came in and, yeah, we started to improve.
Ben, punchy answers.
Yeah, sorry.
Have you ever dipsy-doodled?
I'm not sure. I might have.
On Dancing with the Stars, you might have done it.
It wasn't wrapped. I don't know.
That was the name of one of those horses out at Gloucester Park. Let's go.
All right, last one, and it's the big finish. You know, the drip tray's over. Ben Cousins, what's your favourite colour?
Green.
That's a good answer. It's a good answer. No, it just is. It's a good answer. That was drip tray. Very good drip tray.
Well done. That was grueling.
We've buried the lead, Nick, though. It really, to be honest.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Ben's career. Oh. We've buried.
Oh, well, I mean, it only began when you left West Coast, really. You had the fortune to go to the Tigers, where you are now a Tiger legend. You came to the club, it was 2 years, it was 32 games. What are your memories of going to Richmond?
Yeah, it was a really tough lead up to getting picked up. There was no guarantees that it was ever going to happen, and I was the last pick in the last draft, and I was super keen to get an opportunity to play, and it came about at the death knock, and I was just rapt to be playing footy. And
do you keep in touch with the boys?
I don't like Richmond. I love Richmond.
Good on you, mate.
I will forever stay connected to the group and the footy club, because they played such an important part of my life, which far exceeds football. But even just from a pure football sense, one of the great things to come out of not finishing up at West Coast was the opportunity to come here and play football.
Yeah.
You know, I'd spent 10 years coming every second week, and by the time I moved here, probably 3 of my closest 5 mates lived here, but it wasn't until I got into the fabric and lived here and that I learnt to love the place. You know, Melbourne, but Richmond was a big part of that. And we had some tough times on field, but, you know, even after I finished up, most of the time from afar, to just sit back as a supporter and fan of the footy club, to be on the ride with the Tigers. And there was, you know, a good 8 or 9 guys that went on to play in premierships and steer the club through a dynasty, really. To watch that from afar has been one of the great joys of my footy life.
That's great.
It's a very you touched on it. It's a very different club that you joined. You went from the powerhouse of the West Coast Eagles, winning premierships and finals, and you went to Richmond, and very different in terms of style. And I think it was never more evident in your first game when you launched the ball forward, because your customary fact. You'd think one of these 3 Richmond players would grab it, wouldn't you? But is that
what is wrong with you?
This may have been. That's the exact moment you decided to intentionally rip your hamstring from the bone and finish your career. Anyway, they're a good club.
That was good fun. Hey, who's laughing now?
Hey, Ben.
Not the audience.
We love celebrating. We love celebrating footballers' contributions to the game that we, as fans of it, love. We would have been given our right arm to be able to do what you did as a footballer, and to be able to get you on the show as we do every single week and relive the career is a great joy for us. And it's great to see you so well, and it's great to have you on the show tonight. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
Thank you.